Have you ever wondered why some wives seem to grow increasingly frustrated with their husbands as the years go by? This isn't an isolated incident. It's a reality that many long-term couples quietly experience. What was once a loving and committed relationship can now devolve into constant frustration, simmering resentment, or even the feeling of being strangers living in the same house. But why does this happen? Why do so many women, after decades of marriage, find themselves feeling distant, worn out, or even bitter? Is it just a natural part of aging, or are there deeper reasons at play? Understanding these patterns can help you see things more clearly, whether it's in your own marriage or someone else's. By spotting these signs, there's still a chance to change direction, to reconnect, and to create a relationship that feels fulfilling again. Stay with me until the very end, because the reasons behind this shift might surprise you. In this video, we'll explore the 7 reasons why women often resent their husbands as they age, and more importantly, how you can address these issues to strengthen your relationship. The journey to healing and connection starts here. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you do and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. Now, let's get started. Reason 1: years of emotional labor without appreciation. One of the biggest reasons wives start to resent their husbands as they get older is the issue of emotional labor. Imagine a marriage as a house, solid on the outside, but held together by invisible beams of effort. These beams are emotional labor, the unseen work that often falls on women to keep everything running smoothly. It's not just about cooking or cleaning. It's about remembering birthdays, managing schedules, soothing conflicts, and ensuring everyone feels cared for. Over decades, this invisible weight can become unbearable, especially when it goes unacknowledged. Take Carol, a retired teacher in her 70s. For years, she balanced raising 3 children, working full-time, and making sure her husband's life ran effortlessly. Every holiday was planned by her, every doctor's appointment remembered, every social obligation handled. But looking back, Carol realized that no one had ever done the same for her, not even her husband. He never asked if she needed help or thanked her for the countless things she did. Now, decades later, Carol feels drained and distant. Resentment doesn't appear overnight. It builds in small moments when emotional contributions go unnoticed. If a husband assumes his wife will always handle everything without effort on his part, she may start to feel more like a caretaker than a partner. And when that feeling sets in, love can fade into frustration. But there's hope. Husbands can break this cycle by showing appreciation. Genuine thanks for the unseen work their wives do every day. Small gestures like saying thank you, offering help without being asked, or simply recognizing her efforts can make a world of difference. It's never too late to rebuild emotional connection by acknowledging what has long been invisible. For viewers wondering how they can contribute to fixing this dynamic, start by asking yourself if you truly see and appreciate your partner's emotional labor. Open conversations about shared responsibilities and express gratitude regularly. These small steps can reignite respect and love in relationships that have weathered decades of unspoken tension. Reason 2: feeling like a roommate instead of a wife. As the years pass, many women find themselves feeling like they're living with a roommate rather than a husband, a shift that can be deeply painful. Early in marriage, there's excitement, passion, and emotional connection. But over time, As routines settle and effort dwindles, the relationship can lose its spark. What remains is often two people coexisting under the same roof, sharing meals and watching TV together, yet emotionally distant. This change doesn't happen suddenly. It's gradual. At first, it might be fewer meaningful conversations or less physical affection. Then life becomes a series of predictable patterns, work, chores, and surface-level interactions, until one day she realizes that the intimacy is gone. She feels unseen, undesired, and lonely. It's not just about physical closeness, it's about emotional connection, the feeling of being truly understood and valued. Take Linda, a retired nurse in her late 60s. In the early days of her marriage, she and her husband shared dreams, laughter, and long walks. But as the years went by, her husband stopped asking about her day or showing interest in her thoughts. Their conversations became transactional. What's for dinner? Did you pay the bills? Slowly but surely, Linda felt like she was living with someone who knew her schedule but not her heart. This emotional drift often stems from complacency. Many men assume that once they've married their partner, the relationship requires little maintenance. They forget that emotional intimacy needs constant nurturing. Compliments, shared activities, and deep conversations are vital to keeping love alive. Without these efforts, women can feel like they're fulfilling roles rather than being cherished as partners. Another heartbreaking reality is that many women try to fix this before giving up entirely. They express their needs, asking for more attention or affection, but if those requests are ignored or dismissed, they eventually stop asking. Once a woman stops trying to reconnect emotionally, the distance becomes permanent. But there's hope for couples who want to bridge this gap. Husbands can take small steps to rekindle emotional intimacy. Ask open-ended questions about their wife's thoughts and feelings, plan activities together that break routine, or simply show gratitude for her presence in their life. These actions may seem small, but can reignite the connection that feels lost. If you are still following this far and feel that these shares are valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you are with me. Your interaction is a great source of motivation to help me continue to create useful, positive, and inspiring content for you every day. Reason 3: unresolved conflicts that have built up over the years. One of the most damaging reasons wives begin to resent their husbands as they age is the accumulation of unresolved conflicts. Those small arguments, disappointments, and emotional wounds that were never truly addressed. These issues don't disappear over time. Instead, they build up like layers of sediment, creating a foundation of frustration that can turn into deep-seated resentment. Many couples mistakenly believe that ignoring problems will make them go away. At first, it might seem easier to brush off a dismissive comment or let a forgotten promise slide. But as the years pass, these small moments of hurt pile up. A missed apology here, an unmet expectation there, until they form a barrier between husband and wife. This silent erosion of trust and emotional connection can be devastating. Think about Patricia, a 74-year-old retired accountant. On the surface, her marriage of over 40 years seemed stable. But beneath the surface, Patricia carried years of unresolved hurt. She remembered every dismissive comment, every unmet promise, and every time her feelings were minimized with phrases like, "You're overreacting," or "Why bring it up now?" At first, she tried to address these issues, hoping for change. But when her concerns were repeatedly ignored, she stopped trying. Silence became her coping mechanism, not because things were fine, but because she had given up on being heard. Another dangerous aspect of unresolved conflict is silence. Many men mistake silence for peace, when it's often a sign that their wife has given up trying to be heard. This silence doesn't mean the conflict has disappeared. It means the emotional connection has eroded further. But there's hope for couples facing this challenge. Resolving long-standing conflicts starts with honest communication and empathy. Husbands can take steps to repair emotional wounds by actively listening without judgment, validating their wife's feelings, and offering genuine apologies for past mistakes. These actions can rebuild trust and help restore emotional intimacy. If you've ever felt like your frustrations have been swept under the rug for years, know that you're not alone, and it's never too late to start healing. By addressing unresolved conflicts head-on, couples can rebuild emotional connection and rediscover the love that brought them together in the first place. Reason 4: a shift in priorities that leaves her feeling unfulfilled. As women age, their priorities and desires often evolve, but many husbands fail to notice or adapt to these changes. What once felt fulfilling, raising children, managing a household, or supporting a spouse's career, can start to feel like a closed chapter. Many women reach a stage where they want something more: deeper emotional connection, personal growth, or new experiences. When their husbands remain stuck in old routines, unaware of these shifts, it creates a painful divide. For decades, many women put their own dreams and interests aside to focus on their families. They prioritized stability and caregiving, ensuring everyone else's needs were met. But as life transitions, children leaving home or retirement beginning, women often find themselves yearning for new opportunities. If their husbands fail to engage with these evolving goals, it can leave them feeling trapped and unfulfilled. Consider Helen, a retired librarian in her late 60s. For years, she dedicated herself to her family, planning school projects, organizing vacations, and creating a warm home environment. But now that her children are grown and her career is behind her, Helen craves adventure. She wants to travel, join clubs, and pursue hobbies she never had time for before. Her husband, however, is content with the status quo, spending evenings in front of the TV and dismissing Helen's ideas for change with comments like, "I'm happy the way things are." What he doesn't realize is that Helen isn't. This disconnect is where resentment begins. A woman who spent her life putting others first starts to realize no one is doing the same for her. She begins to see her husband not as a partner, but as an obstacle to the life she now wants to live. The issue isn't just about boredom, it's about feeling held back from personal growth and fulfillment. The problem deepens when husbands assume their wives will always be content with the same roles they've played for years. They fail to recognize that aging brings new opportunities for exploration and self-discovery. When women feel like they're still growing while their husbands remain stagnant, it creates an emotional wedge that can be hard to overcome. But there's hope for couples who want to bridge this gap. Husbands can start by paying attention to their wives' evolving interests and supporting their goals. Simple actions like planning activities together or encouraging new hobbies can help reignite a sense of partnership. Aging should be a time of possibility, not routine, and embracing change together can strengthen emotional bonds. Reason 5: a lack of emotional and physical affection. One of the most painful reasons women grow resentful in their marriages is the slow but undeniable loss of both emotional and physical affection. When affection fades completely, it leaves many women feeling deeply unwanted, unloved, and disconnected. Affection, whether through touch, words, or gestures, acts as a bridge between partners, reinforcing emotional intimacy and making a woman feel seen, valued, and cherished. Without it, she may begin to feel invisible, which is one of the deepest wounds a marriage can inflict. Affection isn't just about grand romantic gestures. It's about the small moments that make a woman feel loved. Holding hands during a walk, giving a warm hug after a long day, or even saying, "I appreciate you," can make all the difference. But when these gestures disappear, resentment can quietly grow. Women don't stop wanting to feel beautiful, adored, or like they matter. These desires persist throughout life. Consider Margaret, a 71-year-old retired school principal. In her younger years, her husband would surprise her with flowers or hold her hand during family gatherings. But over time, those moments became rare. Now, he barely acknowledges her presence beyond routine conversations about bills or chores. Margaret feels like she's living with someone who sees her as functional rather than someone to be loved. The absence of affection has left her feeling lonely and emotionally disconnected. This lack of warmth doesn't just make women feel lonely, it impacts their overall well-being. Studies show that affectionate touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which reduces stress and fosters emotional closeness. Without this connection, women may experience feelings of depression or anxiety. Over time, these emotional wounds can erode the foundation of the marriage. The issue often stems from complacency. Many husbands assume that once they're married, affection is no longer necessary because their commitment is implied. What they fail to realize is that affection is not optional. It's essential for keeping love alive. When a husband stops showing affection, he risks making his wife feel invisible and unimportant. But there's hope for couples experiencing this disconnect. Husbands can reignite affection by starting small, offering compliments, initiating hugs or kisses without expectation, planning date nights, or simply asking how their wife feels. These actions demonstrate care and attention and can help rebuild emotional intimacy. For viewers who resonate with this story, reflect on your relationship and consider whether you're maintaining emotional and physical warmth with your partner. If you felt unseen or unwanted in your marriage, or if you want to prevent this from happening, comment number 5 below to share your thoughts and join the discussion. Together, we can explore ways to nurture affection and strengthen the bonds that keep relationships thriving. Reason 6, feeling like she's taken for granted. One of the deepest sources of resentment in long-term marriages is the feeling of being taken for granted. When the efforts and sacrifices made by a wife become expected rather than appreciated, it can erode the warmth in a marriage. Over time, many women realize that the things they once did out of love, cooking meals, managing the household, supporting their spouse's career, have become expectations rather than gestures of care. This shift can be incredibly painful. Imagine doing something thoughtful for your partner, only to have it met with silence, as if it was simply your job. The lack of acknowledgement can make a woman feel like her contributions are invisible, that she's just going through the motions without being truly seen or valued. Take the story of Rachel, a 65-year-old retired teacher. For decades, she managed the household, ensured her husband's life ran smoothly, and supported his career ambitions. But over the years, her efforts became routine. Whenever she did something extra, like cooking his favorite meal or surprising him with tickets to a game, it was often met with indifference. No thank you, no acknowledgement, just an assumption that it was her duty. Rachel began to feel like she was taken for granted, that her love and care were no longer appreciated but expected. Resentment doesn't arise from one big event. It accumulates from 1,000 small moments of feeling unappreciated. When a woman feels like her efforts are invisible, she starts to wonder if she's truly valued in the relationship. This emotional toll can be significant, leading to feelings of frustration and disconnection. But there's hope for couples facing this challenge. Husbands can start by recognizing and appreciating their wives' efforts, no matter how small they may seem. A simple thank you or acknowledgement can go a long way in showing that her contributions are valued. By making this shift, couples can rebuild a sense of mutual appreciation and respect, strengthening their emotional bond. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps me continue creating content that supports and uplifts you. Reason 7. Realizing they've grown apart. Many marriages begin with a deep emotional connection, but over time, if couples don't make a conscious effort to grow together, they inevitably grow apart. This slow drift can leave wives feeling isolated, invisible, and deeply alone within their own marriage. Emotional disconnection doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of neglecting curiosity, conversation, and shared goals. In the early stages of marriage, couples often share dreams and work together to build a life. But as routines settle and responsibilities take over, raising children, managing careers, or handling daily chores, many stop prioritizing their relationship. Without intentional efforts to stay connected, partners can start leading separate emotional lives, even while living under the same roof. Take Susan, a 70-year-old retired social worker. In her younger years, she and her husband were inseparable, sharing hobbies, planning vacations, and talking for hours about their future. But as the years passed, their conversations became superficial. Bills to pay, errands to run. When Susan tried to talk about her personal growth or new interests after retirement, her husband barely listened. She began to feel like she was living with a stranger rather than a partner. One day, she looked at him and thought, "Who is this person? And how did we get here?" This emotional drift can be just as painful as a full-blown argument. It leaves women feeling unseen and disconnected from someone they once considered their closest confidant. The realization that they've grown apart often comes with feelings of loss, not just for the marriage they had, but for the person they thought their spouse would remain. But growing apart isn't inevitable. It's preventable with intentionality and effort. Couples can reconnect by rediscovering shared goals and interests, whether it's traveling together, taking up new hobbies, or simply setting aside time for meaningful conversations. Rebuilding connection also means being curious about each other's inner worlds, asking questions about dreams, fears, or passions that may have evolved over time. As we explore the reasons why women may grow resentful in long-term marriages, it's clear that resentment builds gradually over years of unspoken frustrations. It's often the small, consistent disappointments that wear down a marriage over time. From the weight of emotional labor to the pain of feeling taken for granted, these issues can erode the foundation of love and connection. Resentment doesn't mean love is gone. It means something needs to change. By acknowledging these issues and working together, couples can reconnect and strengthen their bond. It's about nurturing communication, understanding, and mutual growth. Don't let unspoken needs and unresolved issues become weeds that choke the love and joy out of your marriage. Instead, use this awareness as an opportunity to cultivate deeper understanding and connection. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Together, we can foster healthier relationships built on mutual care and understanding. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, feel free to comment below. Let's work together to nurture love and connection in all stages of life.